on Sam Darnold and the Seahawks team. Very interested to see where they're going to go following this. Up next, we have the Pocket Top 10. I'm very excited for this week because I honestly feel like there are no wrong answers this week. I mean, kind of, sort of. Like, the further away you are from my list, the more wrong you are, if you get what I'm saying. But we'll see how you guys defend your takes of what your top 10 lists are. I feel pretty good about mine. So here we go. We're going to start at the bottom this time. My number 10 team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just steady Eddie. Their most impressive win is against that Patriots team, but it's just a solid team with good leaders on both sides of the ball. I trust them to get to the playoffs. And like you guys said, with the turnovers and that defense, I think they could potentially capitalize on all the parity this year in the AFC with every team looking very beatable. So I think there's no reason to write off them when it comes to potentially winning a Super Bowl. At number 9, Joey's going to hate this. Moving up one spot for me, still moving up, but that's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. They're 5-1. How do you have them so low? Why? Well, Jacoby Brissett without Marvin Harrison Jr. scored 27 points on this defense, and they almost lost this game, which how would that have changed? Yeah, hold on. You'll get your turn. I'm going to list off my points, and then you can fire back. I feel like they've gotten kind of lucky. The Dolphins, they got that Denver win. They did lose a very competitive game to the Rams. I respected that game. They're definitely a top 10 team, but I still think the offense is fantastic with JT and the weapons and Daniel Jones. It's just like, I don't know how sustainable this is. I want to see it more against other playoff teams, not like the Dolphins and the Raiders. You know what I mean? Good for fantasy so far. Number 8, this one's for you, Danny. You're going to hate this one. At number 8, I have the Eagles dropping 7 spots. Really?
Way too high.
Someone thinks it's too high. To me, it's just 2023 all over again. Except, as I mentioned earlier in the show, they went 10-1 before collapsing in 2023. So if they're already struggling against teams like the Giants, I mean, the Broncos loss I get, but if these second half offensive struggles don't get resolved, I think there's no telling what teams this Eagles team could lose to moving forward. And this number 8 ranking is completely held up by the talent on this team and Vic Fangio alone, and that is it. Just Vic Fangio and, the hope that Jalen Carter and Quinion coming back is going to help elevate this defense to a top 5 unit again, and then the offense can just run the ball and play it safe, and, they should still get to the playoffs that way. Number 7, this is a new team for me. I neglected to put them in last time, which was kind of foolish. The Seattle Seahawks. It's just worked well for them. We just had a very long discussion about them. Sam Darnold proving me wrong. Yet again, this defense is insane. And like I said, Witherspoon isn't even out there. I still think they're kind of a mystery box to see how they're going to progress throughout the season. What if Gray Zabel does get hurt? What if there are offensive line injuries? They seem like a bit of a fragile offense to me. But that defense is elite, and that's why they deserve to be here at number 7. And Sam Darnold has proven me wrong quite a bit. At number 6, this is going to get some people flustered. I have them dropping 4 spots, and that's the Buffalo Bills. What is going on in Buffalo? Just the same thing that has killed them every single playoff year against the Chiefs and, every other game that they've been upset in. The run defense just sucks. It's terrible. Bijan Robinson basically single-handedly won this game by going off on that 80-yard run along with chewing up the clock. Algier with that early touchdown. It's just they can't stop a nosebleed, and the offense, it just looks stale versus pressure. If you can get pressure on Josh Allen and contain him, kind of like we're talking about maybe like the Steelers being able to do. We just saw the Atlanta Falcons do that with 2 rookie edge rushers and a second-year defensive head coach. So, what is a team like the Steelers going to be able to do against them in the playoffs? They're supposed to be great against pressure with Josh Allen and this dink and dunk offense, but this formula of theirs is not going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Number 5, we got the Buccaneers moving up 2 spots. For me, they just keep winning games despite all these injuries, and I feel like they should be much lower because of all those injuries, but they've won with Tez Johnson as their wide receiver 2 and then eventually wide receiver 1 in last year's game or in last week's game. If they get some of these guys back, even half of them, these offensive weapons for the playoffs, I think they are going to be looking like they are potentially the best team in the NFC. We're just going to have to see, but that's why I have the next team ahead of them. Number 4, dropping only 1 spot, the Los Angeles Rams. The Puka loss is going to hurt, but we've seen them lose offensive wide receivers before and replace them with guys in this awesome system, kind of like what we saw with the 49ers beating them with replaceable wide receivers in that system. You got to remember, it's that system that keeps that offense afloat with Matthew Stafford. So to me, they're just the best coach of offense in football, and that's something you can lean on, and that deserves to have them being a top 10 team along with that defense that is ferocious in some situations. Number 3, the Lions, disappointing loss, but just still a really well-rounded team. I don't really have a whole lot to say about them. They just kind of survived this year's ranking, or this week. Number 2, moving up 3 spots as well, I have the Packers. Is there really anything wrong with this team? I mean, the secondary can get attacked as we saw in that Dallas game, but I think other than that, later in the season, after that bye, which I think is like week 12 or something like that, I could be wrong, but it's usually after that they just start cooking on offense and defense. And we saw them give the Eagles a good fight last year down to like their, Bo Melton as their wide receiver 1. So I can't wait to see what they look like this year with Matthew Golden. And then number 1, moving up 3 spots as well, the Kansas City Chiefs. In this week and this current spot in the NFL, with all the parity we have, it's just their track record that's doing it for me. And Rashee Rice coming back, Xavier Worthy another week healthy. I mean, if every team is beatable and I'm supposed to bet on one of them to win the Super Bowl or be the best team, I'm going to bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, that coaching staff, and Patrick Mahomes. That offensive line looks pretty good. So to recap for you guys in descending order, first, we have the Chiefs. Second, the Packers. Third, the Lions. Fourth, the Rams. Fifth, the Bucks. Sixth, the Bills. 7, the Seahawks. 8, the Eagles. Love you, Dan. 9, the Colts. And then 10, the Steelers. So that is my top 10. All right, who wants to go first? And I will have the list up here to sort of compare.
Dan, you want it?
Let's rock. All right, so we're going in descending. For number 10 for me, I have the Packers, and my reason for that is the Bengals defense has been known for notoriously getting absolutely ran through every single time. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can't catch nothing. They can't do nothing for them. And what's it called? The Bengals were actually pretty close with Joe Flacco as their quarterback. Number 1, the guy that the Cowboys were getting shat on for trading did not get a single sack that game, correct? If I'm correct, he actually got 3 assisted tackles. So it's just like, to me, it's like this top tier defense that was supposed to do so good, or whatever the case is, led up 18 against the Bengals, and they were only able to get 27 against, this Bengals defense. So it's like, I'm not truly impressed. I'm not sure if it's love. I'm not sure if it's, the core. Jaden Reed being out, I think is pretty significant. I think he's a pretty,
I think it's the core.
You think it's the core itself? I mean, yeah, I can't disagree with that. You know what I mean? Because I know Christian Watson's supposed to be there, and Jaden Reed, they're supposed to be big pieces and everything like that, but they're just not showing me what I need. You know what I mean? Tucker Kraft is being more impressive to me than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We love Tucker Kraft. How we doing? Josh Jacobs is, running the best ball that he can. You know what I'm saying? He's running the best ball that he possibly can right now. And it's just with the amount of names that are on that defense, for them to allow more than, in my opinion, 15, 16 points is absolutely atrocious. So that's why I can't really rank them any higher. Next, I got the Steelers at 9. Talk to me.
I just wanted to say, spoiler alert, the Packers were an honorable mention for me. So me and you are way off from Scott and what he sees on Sunday. I don't know what he's seeing and what he's trying to rank.
I like this. This is good.
And I think a question that we should have talked about is what's going on with the Packers defense, because it's been unimpressive. That's the question we should have had.
That's exactly that's what I'm getting at. Is the amount of time you got McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon, Kenneth Walker. Oh no, was it Kenneth Walker? Yeah, Kenneth Walker, Michael. Michael Parsons, and a variety of other different players who are no lie. Last year they were all big names, and then you add Michael Parsons. You were how many people probably thought they were going to the Super Bowl? A lot of people. Yeah. So it's and now they let up 40 against Dak and the offense, but they're a really good offense, so you can't hate on that. But then they also just let up 18 points against Joe Flacco's Bengals.
They had 1 sack in that game.
Yeah, they had 1 sack that game.
No turnovers.
That is the most disappointing. But continue with the list.
So,
And
to continue the list,
fire back.
Steelers next. I got Steelers next just because of the experience. Personally, I think they're a team that's continued to grow. They're catching their train. They're on the flow. They're doing what they got to do. They're going to continue to roll. I can't disagree with that whole thing. Next, I got the Rams. And the reason why I got the Rams where they're at right now is because of that dramatic loss. Like, you don't have Lamar Jackson and the amount of injuries that they had on the defense itself for you to only score 17 points, I think, and being, glazed the way you are 100%, like with Matthew Stafford and like how you have Devontae Adams on the team, Kyron Williams, and all these other explosive playmakers, plus your defense is supposed to be amazing. They were doing good against the Eagles when they were actually able to put plays together. So it's like, what happened here kind of thing, like what happened with this offense kind of like producing in a sense. Next, I got the Seahawks. They're on the train. They're on the roll. JSN's cooking. Cooper Kupp is getting me consistent reception points. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I can't hate on the Seahawks right now. Their defense is getting a rhythm. Elite. I like the head coach. I like their style of play. In reality, to me, it's very like hard-nosed football. I'm not going to say it's like the Legion of Boom, but it's like you could tell they're really trying to – so they're trying to bring that back to Seattle. That's what it's looking like to me, 100%. You know what I mean? As far as the Colts, I got the Colts next. So at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Colts at 6. Okay. And I got the Colts at 6 because of the fact that it seems almost like every important game is extremely close. But it's like when you're like up there, I feel like in the top 5 is because like you've made statements in the past. And I'm saying like, while I love the Colts, I love their offense, I like what their style is doing. Jonathan Taylor's absolutely cooking. It's just like, has there been a team in reality that we can see right now that are in the playoffs that they're gonna play besides the Bengals because they lost to the Rams?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm lower, so.
What's it called? Next, I got the Buccaneers. I can't lie to you. Like, while they have the Eagles number almost every single year, like the Bucs are a freaking solid team, and I think like you have Evans back, Igbuka back, and Chris Godwin back. It's like, and then Bucky Irving with Kade Allen as your tight end. That's a solid ass offense, and their defense we already know is good. So I have no problems with that. And even though they might have lost to the Bucs, it's because like they're injury riddled all across the board in the wide receiver room. But it's like, for me, seeing Baker break through 3 tackles, get the first down, and then like go crazy, go stupid. To me, I'm like, this team's gonna go far, so I can't knock them out of the top 5. For me personally,
they won too.
Yeah, they won. They beat the Seahawks.
They beat the 49ers. Yeah.
Oh, they beat the Niners. That's what it was. That's what
the jerseys in your head.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Continue.
So what's it called? Then I know everybody's gonna hate this, and everybody's gonna glaze, and everybody's gonna get fucking triggered. But I am not gonna take the Eagles out of my top 5 yet. So I got the Eagles there. Why? Because of the fact that every team has their slump. Like I said beforehand and earlier in the podcast, every team has their downfall. Every team has their bad week. You know what I mean? And that's why I said beforehand, this is the week that is going to make it or break it for me, whether or not we are that kind of team. Yes, there was injuries, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. It's just the fact that they straight up showed up and looked like they did not know what they were going to play that day. Like, if I'm going to be straight up honest with you. But overall, as a team, and was like knowing the Eagles that I've known for years to come, it's like something feels different about this week. And this is the week that we play Carson Wentz on the Vikings.
And he breaks you.
And it's and it's either going to be he absolutely cooks, and then the Eagles, for me, probably going to be like either 10 or 11 at that point for me, or they absolutely cook and they come back like never before. But the thing is, it's going to hurt because Isaiah Rodgers and Wentz is on that team. So it's like, this is kind of a serious game in my opinion. Next,
So you're telling me there's only 2 teams in the NFL the Giants can't beat? Yes, sir. Because you have the Eagles at 3. All right, whatever. Keep going.
I have the Eagles at
Tough
4.
crowd.
I have the Eagles at 4.
Okay, so 3 teams.
At
Okay,
3,
go ahead.
I have the Bills.
Okay.
And it's just because, like, like I said, like, they're on a fluke. There's an issue. There's going on, whatever. I heard there's rumors that the OC is actually looking because the Penn State head coach got fired. So he actually might be wanting to acquire that position just because I believe that OC is actually from Pennsylvania. So then I think he's trying to go back to his roots and start something crazy in the college world. But at the end of the day, I can't sleep on Josh Allen right now. I know they said that the blueprint is taking out James Cook and everything, but we've seen Josh Allen have those bad slump games against the Patriots for some freaking reason. And even though they didn't look so hot against the Falcons this game, but it's also like Josh Allen just does that. I don't know why. Like that he has that off game. Everybody trashes on him. They get pissed off. They think he's absolutely horrible. And then he cooks 5 games and they're like, oh my God, like he's an MVP. So it's like, I'm not going to take him out yet. I still believe in him. Next, I'm going with the Lions at 2. It's number 2. Okay. I can't hate on them. Think they're cooking. They got all the pieces. It seems like to me, Hutchinson is an absolute baller. They're playing great football, and I don't really like see like a lot of errors besides like the temper really with that team. It's just like it's almost like when they have to come back, they start kind of losing their head a little bit. They start just. That's when a lot of the errors start making like happening. So it's like that's why it's kind of hard because that's why they ended up losing against my number 1, which are the Chiefs. And like as Scott mentioned beforehand, getting all your weapons back, getting on a train where you beat a top NFC team, NFC opponent, like you get the mojo back, and now you're getting weapons back. So it's like they're on a train. Plus, like. They are getting stronger, I guess, as the season goes on. These dudes are going to be fresh. They're going to be back, as in Rashee Rice. And you're going to have your receiving core that, your number 1 guy is back now. So that's my list.
All right. Joey, did you go?
All right. So here's the list.
Wait, hold
you guys
on. Actually, I'm sorry. Danny, can you repeat it real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So,
you're writing this down, right, Scott?
Well, it's just so the audience can get it. I'll write it down.
Write it down, though, so you can compare where we're at.
I kind of already did by highlighting it, but I'll do that too. Go ahead, Danny.
okay, so for me, going down the list, I got Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, Buccaneers, Colts.
Wait. Hold on. Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, Bucks, Colts,
Seahawks, Rams,
yeah,
Steelers, Packers.
Steelers, Packers. Thank you, audience. All right, Joey. Now it's your turn.
So I'm going to do what you guys did. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. But before I can go to 10, I got 4 honorable mentions for you. 4 teams that I thought should be talked about that I just kind of wanted to include them in my list. That'd be my 11 through 14, I guess you could say. So I got, it's not going to be in any particular order, but I got the Atlanta Falcons down.
Me too.
Gotta shout him out. Just for beating the Bills, and then Drake London and Bijan any given Sunday will take your heart as a defense. Just those 2. They had nobody else but those 2, and they beat the Buffalo Bills. So gotta give them credit there. Also, like what I'm seeing from their head coach, I want to see where he more succeeds. So that's another thing. I got the Green Bay Packers. Overall, just not impressed with them. I don't know how you have them ranked so high. I don't know if you've been watching them play football or you're just going off their roster, but not impressed at all by the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is like a top 10 quarterback. I'm just not all that moved by him. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars, 4-2. Don't sleep on Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen. He was the OC with Baker last year in Tampa, so I like what they're doing. They've been surprising me, and I just feel like it'd be malpractice to not mention them. And then my courtesy shout out as my final one goes to the Niners, going 4-2 with Mac Jones. I mean, worth mentioning. I feel like I think Mac Jones should be the starter probably in San Fran. I feel like he gives you a better chance to win than Brock Purdy does. Mm-hmm. But the whole team is dealing with injuries, so I just wanted to give them a shout. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Number 10, I got the Denver Broncos. Overall, just not – I mean, they beat the Eagles, but overall just not all that impressed by the offense. Their defense is really good, but the offense seems to kind of like what happened with Jaden Daniels, I think, with the Commanders. I think the film's out on Bo Nix is just not playing the same way he was last year. So I got them at 10. I feel like they're limited on offense. Number 9, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
I know we talked about how the Steelers can beat Drake May and the Patriots in the playoffs, but right now I'm going to put them at 9. I want to see more from them.
Yeah.
As we talked about with what they've done with their wins. Number 8, I got the Rams.
Okay.
Not all that impressed with the Rams. I mean, they blew that game against the Eagles and also the other game they had, but I got them at 8. Number 7, I got the Detroit Lions. I'm still sleeping on Detroit a little bit, but I'm gonna keep them at 7 for now, just because I wanted these other teams to be above them for this list.
Okay.
Number 6, I got the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Shout out their defense, Mike McDonald. Number 5, I got the Buffalo Bills. They're falling for me a little bit. Bad loss versus the Falcons. Also, I feel like every game the Bills play is a home game. Why is that? Do they ever go on the road?
Yeah.
Just a side note. Number 4, I got Mike Vrabel in the New England Patriots.
Wow.
Number 4.
Did you?
Okay.
Okay.
What do you guys want to add?
Well, I was gonna say you said you like the Steelers better than the Patriots.
This is what, a week 6 or week 7 ranking? We're talking about the regular season.
All
I'm
right.
not talking about the playoff.
All right.
But for now, for this regular season, I got the Patriots as my number 4 team. And then I got to give credit where credit's due with Drake May, what he's doing right now. I feel like the sky's the limit with him, obviously. But obviously, if they make the playoffs, that's a success for me and the Patriots. I don't expect them to go win a road game on the playoffs. Number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
They've left they had a dominant showing this past week, but these other 2 teams, this have to be my top 2. And let me just say, I got Daniel Jones and the Colts at number 2. Scott mentioned being unimpressed by a win. They won the game. They beat the Cardinals. I don't care what Jacoby Brissett did. They won the game. They're 5-1. I feel like they are due the credit that they're getting, and I want to give them my number 2 spot, and then that leaves me with number 1 team, Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Okay.
But the Chiefs, where were the Chiefs at?
3.
Number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So there's not much to be said with Tampa and the Bucks. It's just they're dealing with all these injuries and they find ways to win. It's just an impressive football going on, and I feel like when they do get healthy, they are going to be the team to beat.
Okay.
I left off the entire NFC East for my top 14. So
I don't even
That's
think
where
that's a
we're
bad take at all. I don't think it's a bad take at all. I guess since you guys are kind of coming after some of my takes first I'll address that kind of stuff. So, my list does sort of include playoff, potential. So that's
what we're doing.
Either
Scott's
you're-
up the game.
well, that is my game. I mean, this is something that we have to sort out. But actually, I think it creates the question of, are you holding on to what you've seen, or are you reacting to what's happening? You know what I mean? And to me, I'm much more of, and you both know this, I am much more of someone who is, going to put stock into what a team has done in the past. I don't care if it was a year ago. I don't care if it was 2 years ago. If a lot of the same players are still there, the same coach is still there, I'm going to hold on to that, right? Why was I having the Eagles still my number 1 team last week before they played the Giants? Because of what we've seen from them over the past 3 years. Why are the Chiefs my number 1 team? Well, I think amongst all the parity, that we're seeing right now, I think they're most likely to survive that. So that kind of goes into my Packers take, where to me, you said just now that it didn't really matter to you how the Colts won against the Cardinals, and just beforehand we're talking about how the Packers beat the Bengals. It's well, I could also say they won the game, and
What's the context, though?
what's the context?
Yeah.
The context
Where were
I
the
feel like
Colts
is pretty
ranked?
bad
Where
for
were the
both
Colts
teams.
ranked? Where were the Colts ranked preseason, and where were the Packers ranked preseason, and why does that context matter in this scenario?
I'm not saying necessarily that context matters. I'm saying they both won games against teams that most NFL teams should beat, like a Jacoby Brissett Cardinals team or a Joe Flacco Bengals team. And not for nothing, the Packers did win by it was 27-18, so that's 2 scores. It's there. You could say like kind of the way the Broncos approach the Jets games. I feel like teams are going to be conservative in those games because they can afford to because they know the other offense is so bad. And we saw that actually bite the Packers when they played the Browns. I think we know that's what happened. But you're asking, am I looking at the roster talent? Yes, I think that matters a lot. And when you mix that with a coach like LaFleur, that's something I'm gonna bet on over and over again. Just like the Rams and Stafford, who you both are lower on than me. It looks like the teams that I'll just say this now that we're kind of all in the same realm with is I think we're all high on the Chiefs. We're all pretty high on the Lions. We all kind of have the Bills around like 6 to something like that. The Colts 9. I think the team we have the most disagreement on is the Eagles and the Packers because Dan has them 3. I have them 8. Talking about the Eagles here, and Joey doesn't even have them on the list. And then the teams we agree on the most is we all agree the Steelers are like roughly 10, Seahawks are roughly like 7, Bucks top 5, Chiefs top 5. So that's kind of where we agree and disagree. But that's kind of like how I defend my Packers stance is I believe in this team, and it's not like supported by something I've just seen this year. It's supported by a larger body of work than just 6 weeks of this season. So it's kind of how I justify that.
I guess my question is just like, what is it that you're like believing in?
Yeah, what are they proving to you?
What have they proven to me? They've proven to me that
What are you like? You're just like, I believe in this part of the Packers. Like, what is it?
I believe in, first of all, the run game. I think they have a top 5 run game and a top 5 offensive line that helps that run game work. The offensive line that pass blocks and an offensive coordinator that makes Jordan Love's job easy. And Matt LaFleur, who is one of the winningest head coaches that we have seen. And, since he's become a head coach, we've seen him go into the playoffs. Joey, you remember very well, how he surprised the team that, we thought they had no chance of beating, and that was their first year in the playoffs. Last year, they played the probably second best against the Eagles last year, better than the Chiefs, better than the Commanders, right there with the Rams. I think if they have a couple wide receivers and a couple flags go their way, that they would have beat the Eagles limping. And I think this year, I take all of that, and then I say, okay, I put Micah Parsons into it. Yes, I do worry about what's going on right now with this back injury and the slow start. But I do think, like I said, after the bye and, once he gets acclimated, remember, he just got there. It's not like he's been there the whole summer. He is Micah Parsons, so I expect him to have an impact. But I think just his presence alone is, like, garnering a lot of attention. I think that defensive line, we saw how important that was for the Eagles. I think that's the Packers this year. I think the Packers are the Eagles of last year. And they're just going to figure it out, and they have a better chance of any other team doing that, and that's why they're my number 2 team. I think they're basically the most talented team in the NFL. So that's why I believe in them. And when you mix that with a good coach, I think that's really strong projection for the playoffs.
Well, here comes Joey.
Joey, you have something for that?
I mean, you make a lot of good points. It's just, I don't know. I feel like the way people talk about Dak's kind of how I view the Dak of a few years ago is how I view Jordan Love right now. I just don't know what Jordan Love's ceiling actually is and what he is. It's all going to be on his shoulders to win these games that you're talking about. So I just don't know how capable he actually is. And I also worry about their receiving corps. It's not really that strong.
Is it though? Like that's Dak's problem was he had no defensive run game, and I'm saying like the Packers have that. So Jordan Love doesn't. I don't think he does have to carry these games. I mean, against the Eagles, when the wide receivers weren't there and the run defense was so good.
When you stop the run, though,
huh?
When you stop Josh Jacobs and the Packers run, you got to rely on Jordan Love to win the game. Are you confident in Jordan Love being able to do that?
Yeah, I think you could do what Jalen Hurts did last year.
You got to answer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is, I guess, where my question kind of comes in is in the sense of just like how, like, I know you believe in the Packers, but for example, teams like the Niners and Kyle Shanahan has had LaFleur's number almost every playoff that I can remember. So it's like, what really like makes this year different? Because nothing really is like outstanding.
I think their biggest threat is the Rams and the Lions because we've seen the Lions beat a more healthy Packers team last year. I think they're just as talented on both sides of the ball, and I think their offensive line is better than the Packers. I think they have a better run game, which is going to help them have an edge. But I still think just I kind of think Jordan Love's ceiling's higher than Goff. Like, don't forget, like he could get better, in this easy situation. And I think the Packers defense is way better. But then the Rams, when you talk about Shanahan having their number, if I'm picking one team to beat the Packers in the NFC right now, if it's not like it's that Bucks, Rams, and Lions. But I think the Rams would have the best chance of doing it just because they're the best executing team in the NFC. They're not the most talented, but they're the best executing. So when it comes to those 2-minute playoff situations, I'm like, who else would you rather have right now besides like Mahomes and Kelsey? I'm not taking Josh Allen. I'm taking Stafford and McVay in those 2-minute situations to go win a game, which is like any close playoff game. Like that's where it's gonna be. So that's why that's my top four. Like, and we saw like Goff be pretty good in the playoffs the past couple of years. It's just I don't think he can. I don't think he's the reason. I think he crumbles under pressure, pass rush the most. So that's kind of where I get that. Okay, well, all right. So that's enough of me defending the Packers. There's a lot of teams we could talk about here. You, my friend, even if this is regular season right now, I think 4 for the Patriots is pretty high. Do you want to, Dan? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's like I feel like majority of that is based off of a Bills win.
Correct.
And a close win to the Steelers.
Yes. 2 of top 10 teams, right? They beat 2 of our
okay. So that's where I guess my kind of question is. It's like, if that's the case, like, why are the Jaguars part of your honorable mention? Because they beat the Chiefs, right? Because I guess that's what my kind of. That's why they're part of your honorable mention. So my thing, okay. So I guess my question to you is just like
they're 11.
So they're 11, but who was his 10 again? I'm trying to remember.
The Broncos, which is right there with the Jags. I think that's fair. Same tier.
And who was his 9?
His 9 was the Steelers. I think Steelers, Broncos, Jags is like those 3 teams are very similar. I trust the Steelers the most.
I'm just waiting for one of them to
actually. Isn't the Jaguars defense the number 1 scoring defense like in the league right now?
It's very turnover dependent, though.
They've had a semi-easy schedule, though, for being honest.
Yeah. They did beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs, though.
They got a 99-yard like touchdown pick 6 off of catching the hook.
Part of why I have the Jags, at 11 is because of the 20-12 loss to Seattle this past week. So I had to factor in the Seattle loss.
Okay.
After beating the Chiefs, they beat the Niners. I mean, there's a lot of meat on the bone here for the Jags. We're gonna learn a lot about the Jags, I think, this week against the Rams. Even though the Rams, they don't have Puka, whatever. If the Jags could beat the Rams, that would move them ahead of the Rams.
I agree. I think the Rams should still win. But I want to make one note. When I was making this list, I had a lot of trouble with myself trying to say this team beat this team and this team beat this team. The way I see it is at this point, everyone has beaten everyone. You can do one of those circles for any team. So I tried to go as far away from that as I could. And that's why, once again, I kind of leaned on track record, even for a right now ranking. Dan.
Do you guys know who the number 1 team in the AFC currently is?
It's the Colts.
Yeah.
What's the Colts conference record?
5 or their conference record, they're undefeated.
Correct. What's their division record?
Undefeated. That's the AFC South.
So how do we not have the Colts as a top 3 to 5 team? That's really what it comes down to. If we're looking at it fairly,
I had them at 6.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think 6 is fair. I have them 9. I'm a little lower.
No.
I think
Scott's low on him because of his bias towards these other teams that aren't producing. That's kind of what it comes down to.
I actually really wanted Daniel Jones to succeed, but I think we can all agree this is probably best case scenario. And I think, there were a couple of mistakes that he could have made that could have lost them that Cardinals game. But more so to me, it's about like I believe in the Colts offense. I believe that run game can take the load off Daniel Jones' shoulders in a playoff game like Saquon Barkley did versus the Vikings. But that defense playing that way against Jacoby Brissett with like Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson as his starting 2 wide receivers, what happened? What happened there? Like that's something like I want to look into more and kind of find out why that happened, because that should not occur. If that happened with Kyler, I would have said that was a good game for Kyler and Marv if that was the score at the end of the game. So that really made me be like, okay, this is like a little back down to earth for the Colts. That's Danny. I want to ask you about. I want you to defend having the Eagles at 4 after, and I want to lay it down like this. Despite not having Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles still on both sides of the ball severely outmatched the Giants. The Eagles defense should severely outmatch from a talent perspective the Giants offense. And then the Eagles offense, it's closer, but I would say should still outmatch, even without Landon Dickerson, the Giants defense. So and Fangio versus Dable, little decent matchup there, but you said you only want to look at Kevin Patullo. I need more. I got to get some more. If you got to blame something else, it's got to be something, because if your offensive coordinator is this huge problem and he's still there, and you have the Eagles at 4, like just kind of talk about it. You know what I mean? Like defend the 4 ranking and then tell me what needs to go right. Besides,
so I guess
before you start, can I just add in the locker room culture is so toxic right now as Darius Smith decided to hang it up. So leave that there.
That too. Your edge rusher, you lost your best edge rusher, so at the moment, Nolan Smith.
At the moment, because I know Nolan Smith is hurt right now. But so for me, is that what?
Nolan Smith's on the
okay.
So I don't know who's playing DN for the Eagles this week.
All right,
I think it's Uche and Ojolari.
Defend your take, Danny.
Yeah, defend.
Okay. As far as 4 goes and everything like that, so the reason why is because of the fact that every team has their downward slope, every team has their off game and everything like that. And thank you for that, Joey. But also too, there's the concept of like the Jaguars are a team that beat the Chiefs, but both Scott and I look at the Chiefs as a number 1 team. Yeah, the best team going into this week. You know what I mean? Another off game for the Jags. But for us, clearly, the Jags were not on my list. They were in Joey's honorable mention. And Scott, I don't believe you
I didn't say an honorable mention. I did have them written down as Broncos, Commanders, Patriots, Falcons, but I would probably say that the Jaguars deserve to be there over the Commanders right now.
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like I can't count the Eagles out just yet. There's also like everybody has like a slump game. Oh my freaking god! Okay, I'm here still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good, because all my screen's frozen. But let's keep rocking. The Eagles are a team that still have been strong, still have been consistent, still have been like I guess viable in games before. The Broncos, of course, like a really good defense. Then you're playing against somebody like the Giants where you come in unprepared. It's just like things are bound to happen, I feel like, and things are bound to be exposed from the Eagles in a sense. Like everyone says, like the Broncos set up the blueprint. But I feel as if it's because it's a short week, they didn't look to change the game plan. The game against the Giants looked exactly like the Broncos game in a sense. Like basically just like copy and paste. There was no adjustments. There was no changes. There were no, while week to week when we played the Cowboys, the way we played the Cowboys was way different than we played the Rams. And we could all agree on that. Like there was a lot more passing. There was a lot more motion. There was a lot more involvement.
Both those games too.
Appreciate it. I understand that. But we didn't. Because why? Because it was like the time to prepare, and there was different things that were in different situations to be able to adjust to those things. But because we played the Broncos to how we did, and it was a short week against the Giants, I think it was the concept of just being unprepared overall. But if I had to blame something else too, honestly, it's like No, but it's because of the fact that also too, like we also forget, like we literally cleared out our DB room. You know what I mean? We got Dory Jackson, and he wasn't supposed to be signed to be like something great. Keely Ringo keeps getting in and out and has no experience, but he says he's a man cornerback, but got burnt by what's it called? What's it called? The practice squad guy. What was his name, Scotty?
Jordan Humphrey and Wandale Robinson too.
Yeah, Lil Jordan Humphrey. So it's just like it's one of those things where it's like you only really have Quinyon, and we got rid of Slay and Isaiah Rogers. Which if Isaiah Rogers was here right now, it'd probably be a whole different story. We probably wouldn't be starting Keely or having any of these like kind of situations. So it's like, do I blame the offense for? Like, I blame the offense for having the very basic that even guys like us could sit here and be like, this is what they're gonna do. But I also blame like there's like the how do I say lack of depth
There you go.
in our DB room. Honestly, like our slot is gonna be Cooper DeJean. They're not gonna want to put him outside. And our next guy after Quinyon is either Adoree, the guy we got from the Raiders, Abram, or Adoree Jackson. So, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, there's no really like big names that we've had on defense in that sense on like the defensive backside of things that are really like able to like step up. While our D line, we had Zadarius Smith, Ojolari, Nolan Smith, Uche, all these other guys. Like, so that's kind of where I feel like I would deter my thing to, but that's why I don't really take them out because at some point we're gonna get those guys back. I think Dickerson's coming back this week, and then they have a week to prepare.
Yeah, like
Plus,
10
you know what I'm saying? They have 10 days to prepare against the Vikings, and then you're gonna have Dickerson back. Carter and Quinyon should be back this week. I saw they were participating in practice. So to me, it's one of those things where it's like it's a downfall, it's a little bump, but in reality, like you said, Scott, beforehand, like if this does end up being a loss this week, then you can go from 4 to 13 real fast.
Yeah, and I think
It's kind of how I see it.
to honestly hop in with you, I still have the Eagles on my list at 7. Why? The same reason I have the Packers at 2 and all these other teams where they're at. The Eagles are still a very talented team. They're banged up right now. But we've seen at least Sirianni, as much as I question him and Fangio, I think, mostly Fangio, to be honest. I have a lot of faith in him and that defense to really bring it back together. I just think they need Jalen Carter and then to get these corners bearing down on the quick passes that teams are going to have to throw, because Carter is a top 3 defensive tackle in the NFL, and he does generate a lot of interior pressure, which completely changes everything. One reason we always lose to the Eagles is, as the Giants, is that interior rush, and that wasn't there. It's a big reason why the Giants won. So I think, the Eagles getting healthy again and just that offense, maybe they fire Petullo or Sirianni does pick up play calls and he actually does something, and it could be something like that. But we'll see. But they are in free fall for me. I did drop them 7 spots, but I did not want to drop them any further than that. All right. I would say